September was a month where things finally did go to plan. I got as far as I could into the story of the game that was holding me hostage that meant I could move on a little, which had me trying demos, including one on a field trip, and also returning to my staples, now down to a very normal one game that I'm playing now for October. Things are looking up for my gaming time, and I'm looking forward to spending even more time with my consoles, so let's talk about the JRPGs I played in September. In my post-going to TGS excitement, after watching a bunch of people walking around with a big bag with a gorgeous UI on it that I didn't find while I was there, Metaphor ReFantazio's demo was something I skipped there as I had one sitting on my console at home. I've been wanting to try Metaphor since Atlas Fest earlier this year, especially after seeing everyone's glowing takes about it after, and I truly see why, as it feels like the high fantasy Persona game I didn't know I needed. If you love Atlas's slick UIs, turn-based systems, and visuals, Metaphor has that in spades, with a new fantasy story and atmosphere, complete with cool summons and its boss battles for the Persona fans. There's no school to run around in, but having this replaced with a beautiful fantasy town and unique world felt very cool, and complete with a new dramatic story pulled me in, making me curious to see where its dramatic events from the start will lead to as it continues. I spent more time with it than intended trying to get to combat that saw me play a good chunk of story, but I didn't mind at all, as every second learning about its world of royalty and its dynamics was building this world well, and every gameplay mechanic added served to make me really want to keep playing the most out of everything I played last month. I hope I get to soon, as so far I really like what was shown in the smaller part of it, and I'll be curious to hear everyone else's thoughts when the full game comes out soon. As I mentioned with Metaphor, this year I finally made my way to TGS, which I hope to make a dedicated video about soon. I didn't have a lot of stamina for the long demo lines for many things I wanted to play, including Metaphor and another game I could just play from the comfort of my home, but I made the exception for one I couldn't, which was Fairy Tail 2. To my delight, this TGS demo had English that meant not only could I play this early, but I could also understand it, which means I can give my first impressions on it with confidence. The demo I played was only 20 minutes long, and that 20 minutes flew by, as time should when you're having fun. The high quality visuals of Gus' takes on the Fairy Tail world make a return, but this time with more of the luster from being a generation ahead of the first one. It also, like most Gus games, features the lessons they've learned in development since the last one, with a menu-based turn-based battle system swapped for a more simplistic one with shortcuts that makes battles move more quickly, and also lets you appreciate the flashy visuals once again that makes it easy to get to story events. These were great to see fully rendered with movement and all character models for everyone involved so far, and matched everything feeling high quality, making it feel like I was jumping back into an even better version of this world I liked in the first. I love Gus' take on the anime and a way to consume it in my favorite medium, especially since I still haven't watched more of the anime since the first game, so this is pretty much a must-buy for me as long as the timing works out, and I'm glad this demo could keep me excited for another Gus game. One of the other achievable lines I could have jumped into at TGS was for Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven. However, I remembered there was a demo for this on PSN while I was there and decided to skip the line and play at home instead so I could see other things, and I'm glad I actually ended up taking the time, as this is another game I want to play too. Aside from the pretty visuals, good voice acting, and interesting world, I really like the combat in this that made me want to play more. It reminded me of a mix of Alliance Alive and Octopath Traveler, with the idea part of it reminding me of Alliance and the way it remembers weaknesses of Octopath, and I love the combat in both of them, so it's easy to get excited about playing with similar in Revenge of the Seven, especially in another interesting fantasy world by Square Enix. The latter part of the year is looking pretty exciting already, with these two things to make many hours of it fun, so I hope to see both of these grace my consoles again sometime as I get through my staples and make room for things like this. I just mentioned getting through my staples, and that's because I actually managed to get through 2 last month, and I got a good bit into all of them after fixing up my Resleriana time. Keeping true to what I said in the last one, I was much more tame with my Resleriana time, only playing either to progress the story or by my side at my computer, with no focus on dailies except maybe for quickly cashing in a bunch of event points on their final days. Once I hit a story wall midway through chapter 13 on the English version, I was finally able to make my video about about my updated thoughts on it that has given me a lot of brain real estate back for other things that's been amazing, even more so that I've been able to put those thoughts out. And since I'm not totally breaking up with Res, I've just been trying to keep smarter with it, putting the final event days on my calendar and watching their stories before then, and enjoying my little excursions into it on occasion rather than it taking over my life, which has been much more healthy and seen my console time improve too. Since then, I managed to finish something on console too last month, and while it's technically DLC, I'm calling it Finish Something as this is the best I've done in months. I managed to finish the Final Fantasy VII InterMISSION DLC, finishing my journey with Yuffie and Sonon with an emotional bang that made me so glad I stuck with it. I'd like to share my full thoughts on it soon in a good old DLC review, so I won't say too much, but I am hoping I'll be as slick as I got with the combat in this when I get back to Rebirth, as I found it really fun by the end with how quick and snappy Yuffie is to control, and I also hope its law makes my Rebirth experience even better, as that's the main reason I played it. With my Yuffie life done, there's only one other staple to continue with officially, at least of the ones I was over halfway through. I got back to Trails to Azure with a little dining quest to get me going again, and I'm enjoying being back in the world, waltzing over to areas with characters I'm curious about, and being blessed with full events that reminds me of exactly why I love this series. Until the next big release I pick up between videos, this will be the thing I'm sticking with, and with no Wi-Fi to mess me up and the ability to throw it in my bag since I'm playing on Switch, it's been great to be back in a console world, and I plan to stick with it until the end. I'm really happy with my progress so far, and I'm so glad the changes to my playtime have seen great results, and that's with a couple more experiences still to talk about as I enjoy getting back to playing many different things. I had a few extra pockets of gaming time here and there in September and spent them with a few games that were sticking in my mind for different reasons. Probably the one most people will be interested in hearing about is Visions of Mana, which I tapped the demo of onto my play session after playing the Romancing Saga 2 Revenge and Metaphor demos, and honestly it was probably the thing I was the least interested in out of the three. That isn't to say it's bad, it just didn't click with me perfectly like Revenge and Metaphor did. I liked the combat like I did back in Trials of Mana many years ago, and liked its visual style, but also found it a little corny in its dialogue like Trials, so I didn't really find a big hook from it. It'd probably be something I'd be more likely to consider running around in on sale rather than in its opening months, but as always, I'd be curious to hear more from those who played it in full to see if there's maybe more to it. Kamitsubaki City Ensemble, Cry Makina's Fuyuki Hayashi's latest effort, was my train game whenever I forgot my Switch in September. I enjoyed the little bits of dark tinged dialogue that it gave me in small bursts, even if outside of that, I feel like I'm still getting the hang of its rhythm parts as I adjust to get its lanes moving as comfy as I feel in other rhythm games where I've done the same. It is nice to have something to fall back on for my playtime when I'm less organized though, that doesn't demand too much from me daily. So again, while I haven't found the hook here, I'm still invested in Hayashi's work and will be sticking with it when I can for the time being. Finally, I jumped into Tomba for honestly just a few minutes one evening, satisfying the fact I have this nostalgic thing for me at home but no time to play it much right now. I'm sure I'll get back to this and some other games sitting in the pile properly when I'm working on less things, and it's nice I've cleared up my playtime in a way I can see it coming eventually. As October gets going, it should be full of more experiences and more making way to play all the things I want to play. October is another exciting month with plenty of releases to try, almost too exciting if you're like me and invested in all the ones you'd like to play. Metaphor ReFantazio will come out earlier this month on the 11th, and later, while I know I'll unfortunately probably end up skipping Yakuza Rival to Switch on the 24th, Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven is on the same day, and Ys 10 Nordics on the 25th are two things I'd really like to play if I get the chance. I've downloaded Ys 10 Nordics Japanese demo to help me pick hypothetically between the two, but I say that because I still could be tied up with Metaphor if I get to it first, which I may like to finish, or if I'm making progress in Trails to Azure, that could be the main thing I play as it's not a small game, although I am halfway through. Ideally, I'd love to finish a couple of those things this month, with Azure definitely being one of them, and I hope to continue making way for new things and anything I've missed this year and in the past too, now that my play habits are much better. I hope your Septembers were exactly what you'd hoped to, and hope the decision of choosing what to play in October isn't too difficult, with a lot of high quality releases right around the corner and many great things to keep playing. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in September and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you. Bye!